Hello and welcome to the Wargamer, and you're joining me again as I take a look at some more compressors for airbrushing. Now this is the Iwata Studio series and this is the Smart Jet Pro. Now in the previous videos I've looked at some of the Sparmax range and those are more of the budget range, more for beginners. This is a little bit more upmarket, it's a bit more expensive, but it does have a lot more features than the Sparmax compressors we were looking at previously. Now first of all, let's go over some of the features of this compressor. First of all, we have this nice sturdy metal case which actually protects the compressor. You can just about see the compressor inside there, so it stops everything from getting, if you drop anything on here, if you're storing it, protects the actual compressor itself and all the sensitive areas. Also get this handy carrying handle on the top there, and if I just spin this around slightly, you can see that we also get a pressure gauge, we get this pressure dial as well, and finally we get a built-in airbrush holder also. Now this is just a single airbrush holder. You also get in the set included is a slightly smaller one as well. You can just swap that out if you've got a different size airbrush, and also we have some different nozzles for attaching different brands of airbrush. Now in addition to this, we also get a hose, a plastic rubber hose. If I just remove this from the packaging, it's quite a nice thin hose, not too actual flimsy either. It's quite a thick hose. I've been using a similar one to this for a long time now. It's not perished, it's not warped, it's a really good sturdy hose even though it is quite thin like this. But it's good because it doesn't get in the way when you're airbrushing. It's quite light also. Now this actual compressor is a later version of the original Smart Jet Pro, and actually I've been using the Smart Jet Pro, the previous version, for about 2 years now. So I'm going to be comparing these two directly in a second, but first of all I just want to kind of go over a few more of the features. So one of the things that's happened here is we've actually got a relocation of the air hose, and you'll see exactly where the previous version was on the old compressor. But we also have this this valve here. Now this valve actually is a condenser unit, so instead of the water getting drawn in through here from the moisture from the air and then going out through your airbrush, it actually gets collected in here before the air gets emitted out there as well. It's also got a filter in here as well, so it's very nice, keeps your air flow nice and clean indeed. So let's bring in the old style compressor and compare the two directly. So here we have the two compressors side by side, and I've struggled actually to get both of these in shot, but this one is the older version and this one is the newer version. So first of all, you can see that there's a very considerable difference in size. Now these at the back here are actually butt up against each other, so they're pretty much the same length at the back, but you can see there's an extra maybe 2 or 3 inches of length on here. It's also slightly wider and also slightly taller as well. So this is considerably larger than the newer version, so it's great because it just means everything's a bit more compact. You can store it easy. It's also a lot lighter, considering it's quite a heavy airbrush compressor already. This is a lot lighter than this version as well. Now I've also mentioned the hose on the front of this, and you can see on this model it's actually located on the top. Now I haven't really noticed an awful big difference between using the two. Maybe it's because I use it on the floor, but I reckon if you're using it on a desk, then having the hose coming out of the front as opposed to out of the top would probably be quite beneficial. A few minor changes also. The button colour's red. This has got a nice clear red button, and this one's just got a black one. So it's probably only changed there. So that's the two side by side. I've been using this one for about 2 years now, like I said, and I've also used this one recently on a miniature. When I actually plug an airbrush into this, we'll be able to see how it performs. So here we have my Iwata HPC Plus, and I've connected this to my compressor. I'm going to be showing you how the actual airbrush works itself. So let's run around about 30 psi through this airbrush at the moment. It has an operation range of about 10 to 35 psi, so you've got quite a nice range of operation there. So let's start off with some 30 psi. So you can see we have some nice atomization, and we've got this nice gradient from the darker yellow there through to pretty much white on the paper there as well. Now this actual airbrush, as you'll notice when I'm using it, if I just press the button down now to start the air, as soon as I release the actual air, the compressor itself shuts off. It's actually currently on, but as soon as it needs drops below a certain pressure, it'll turn on to maintain that pressure, and then once it's maintained the pressure, reaches the set pressure, it'll then turn itself off again, which is really great because it can be quite annoying when you've got it to the left of you or in front of you, that noise that's on constantly. Now this has an operational usage of around about 60 minutes, so you can use it pretty much continuously for 60 minutes before letting it cycle down for about 15 minutes. It also has a auto temp switch off if the compressor itself gets too hot. So that's excellent ways of making sure that your compressor's life is kept to the full. Overall, the actual atomization is really nice. The sound isn't too loud either. It's actually quieter than the previous model I looked at. The compressor itself is around about a meter away from the camera, so if I just put some air through again, you can see it's not really that loud. It's not completely intolerable that you can't hear yourself work. So that's the actual compressor in use. Let's get an overall summary for this. So that concludes my look at the Iwata Studio Series SmartJet Pro. Overall, it's a really nice compressor. Like I said, I've been using the previous version of this for about 2 years now with no problems whatsoever. It's really nice airflow through the compressor. Basically, all of the good points from the previous compressor, this has maintained, but it's also made a few improvements, such as the reduced weight, the reduced size. It's also quieter as well, so it's excellent to see some improvements being made on this particular one. Now, the one downside about this kit is the price. It's £309 RRP, which does put it out the price range from a lot of beginner airbrushes. But to be honest, if you're a beginner airbrusher and you're only doing it sporadically, you're probably not going to see the benefit of having a more expensive compressor like this, and I recommend going for one of the Spar Max ones I looked at in the previous videos. However, if you're an avid airbrusher or you're looking to move on to do more airbrushing, then this is definitely a good place to move on to. It's a bit more pricey, but you're going to be getting better reliability. It's got the auto shut off as well, which is going to save a whole lot of annoyance when you're airbrushing your miniatures. Now, I'll pop a link in the description below, which will take you to somewhere you can pick one of these up for yourselves. And if you're enjoying these videos, these airbrushing videos I've been producing, please do let me know in the comments below. And also subscribe to be kept up to date with all of my future content. Now, until next time, thanks for watching and goodbye.